Hello and welcome to our new series of minisodes with author and police advisor Graham Bartlett. Graham is a best-selling author and crime and police procedural advisor to fiction and TV writers. He was a police officer for 30 years and mainly policed the city of Brighton and Hove, rising to become a chief superintendent and its police commander. Graham started writing when he left the police in 2013 and, almost by accident, became a police procedural and crime advisor, helping scores of authors and TV writers, including Peter James, Mark Billingham, Ellie Griffiths, Anthony Horowitz, Ruth Ware, Claire McGowan and Dorothy Coomson, achieve authenticity in their drama. He also runs online crime writing workshops and courses with the Professional Writing Academy and delivers inputs to master's programmes at the University of Cambridge and the University of East Anglia, as well as at the Crime Writing Certificate programme at West Dean College. He lives in Sussex with his wife Julie and, variously, his 24-year-old triplets. His debut crime novel, Bad for Good, is out now, and not only is it a fantastic, gritty novel, it's also an absolute must-read for anyone looking to write in the police procedural genre.
That's absolutely right. And each episode of our minisodes will be around 10 minutes long, and we'll focus on how crime authors can ensure authenticity when writing about the police. So without further ado, please welcome the fabulous Graham Bartlett.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited about these minisodes.
So are we.
Hello, Graham, and welcome to our first minisode, which will focus on the importance of getting it right. Can we start by asking you why it is so important that crime authors get the police element of their novels as accurate and authentic as possible?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of people ask me that question. That I buy a book because I want it to be. I want to read a story. I want to engage with characters, and I want to be taken on a journey. And I don't want to read a textbook. The thing is that with policing, readership is so well informed about how policing actually works. And when you are looking to take a reader on a journey with your characters, you're obviously, because of the story you're going to take them on to tell that through, and what you're going to put your characters through, will require them to suspend disbelief. But if you create a credible world, a world where people are structured, operate, behave, speak in a way that the reader can go, yeah, okay, I can buy into that, then they'll then allow you to have sort of mass murders in the middle of Midsummer or wherever it might be. So I think it's really important to get those elements right. It's not about being slavish, but it's just being about credible.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I think. Build the world, and then whatever happens in it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was wondering, what do you consider to be the very worst offences an author can make when writing about the police? And I know from since we've had our last chat in series 6, when you came on and chatted to us, I've been very aware of seeing detective inspectors running around arresting people and things like that. So what do you think are the worst offences?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Laurie, with that first one. It's people who confuse seniority with activity. So in the police, that most of the exciting stuff that readers are going to want to read about is actually carried out by sergeants and constables, detective sergeants and detective constables in the main. And what happens, and there's no criticism in this, because I don't know how a hospital works. I don't really know how the military works. So if I was writing in those genre, I'd probably get it wrong as well. But people think, well, I want to have this kind of this very very engaging protagonist, and I want them to be out there, and the reader to really kind of get excited with them. So they give them a high rank, and actually the opposite is true. I mean, I sort of describe it as, you know, the senior person on a murder investigation, the senior investigating officer, is usually a detective chief inspector, and they're effectively a project manager. They're project managing a murder investigation, so they're not out there kicking the doors down. They're not out interviewing suspects. They're not out there trawling through CCTV or anything like that. They've got people doing that for them. So for that credibility, I always say, you know, don't get sort of blinded by rank. You know, get blinded by where the action is, and position your protagonists accordingly. And then, I mean, I've got loads of things. I could go on forever on these. So arming detectives, you know, in England, Scotland and Wales, murder detectives are never armed yet. You know, you see them draw guns sometimes from their desk drawer or the armory.
Yeah.
Family liaison, which is seen as kind of all tea and sympathy. Family liaison is one of the trickiest and most skilled jobs a detective can do, because, you know, people probably have heard that the well, it's not a statistic, the truism that most people who are murdered by someone they know, which means often the secret, the key to it is within the family and friends, and it's the family liaison officers that have to find that out. So that, I mean, there's so many, and none of them are showstoppers in terms of the story. You know, you can have your story exactly as you want it, but it's just these little elements give it that authenticity that will help your reader buy into the world.
That's really fascinating. Yeah, that what you said there about the family liaison officers. Yeah, you're right. They're always seen as just making the tea, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Sitting in the living room having a cosy chat.
Exactly, picking the kids up from school, and, you know, all those things. You just think, well, they're not babysitters; they're detectives, and they're very, very clever detectives as well.
Graham, what services, I think our readers will be really interested to know what services you and your consultancy offer. And so maybe you can tell us a little bit about those. And also, since policies and procedures in the police and criminals themselves are evolving all the time, how do you ensure that the information and the advice that you provide writers is current and up to date?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, I head a team of about 20 advisors, all who've got different skills, different expertise, different experiences, because no one person can say that they're expert in all parts of policing. You know, they'd be lying to you if they said that. What we offer is a whole range of services. So, you know, people will come to us and ask us, you know, I'm thinking about this story. I want this, you know, I want this kind of, so it's kind of story and plot development, character development sometimes, certainly if it's going to be the start of a series. So we'll advise on that. We'll advise on, you know, how that police force might be structured, where their protagonists might be situated within that, the kind of things that the protagonists will be doing, the lifestyle they've got, that sort of thing. Then we'll these are kind of, you know, this is like sort of a pick and mix really for people. You know, you don't have to go through all of them or any of them, but we'll then sort of answer questions for people. So they might be part way through, they might have just plotted out, or they might have just completed their first draft and have a range of questions. And we could do that by email or by Zoom. You know, Zoom's quite good because you can then kind of just mull over. You know, if I say, well, they wouldn't really do that, well, I need them to. Okay, well, let's think of a, you know, situation, and, you know, what's, you know, give me a bit more of their backstory, so you can kind of have a collaborative approach. So we do that, and we do part or full manuscript reviews as well. So we'll go through either the full manuscript or just the police scenes, and a lot of, in fact, I say most of our clients are not writing police procedurals. Most are writing other forms of crime, other subgenre of crime that have policing elements to it. Because a lot of people sort of do say to me, "Oh, I'm not really writing police procedural, but I wonder if you can help." That's the bread and butter. That's where we operate most, because you know, people just want their arrest scene or their interview scene in the psychological thriller, you know, to be authentic, and so we can, you know, we can help with that as well. So yeah, all of those things, and we're really friendly. And most of us on the group are crime writers too. So we give that added element of, we know the reality, but we also understand the needs of story, character development. We understand about act structures and midpoint twist and all those sorts of things. We're writing ourselves, so you get a kind of creative approach to the advice that we give you.
Yeah, and it really is such great advice. You've just listed everything that I've done with you, Graham, for one book or another. But then I also attended your police custody and arrest and interview seminar, like a day event, which was brilliant. So it really went into lots of experts, and that was so useful.
Yes.
Yeah, I try to get experts to all of my workshops that I run, my online workshops. So we have, yes, the custody one. We have interview experts there, and ready to ask questions. Can't remember whether we had
Nadine Matheson as well. She's so brilliant.
So we have Nadine Matheson and Dr. Andy Griffiths coming there, and so they'll answer questions. The next one is in October, which is an undercover and covert policing. We have a real undercover officer there who will tell you all about his exploits, and not in a look who I am, but just kind of helping people understand how undercover and very serious and organised crime groups, terrorist organisations, where he's worked. So we try and get the experts along so that people, the writers, can actually probe them a little bit about, I've got this character and I need them to do this, and how would that happen? And I know with Leslie we've engaged recently with
yes.
the experts.
Yes. Graham's helped me with my previous novel and this current one in development. So it's been absolutely fantastic. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. So thank you for listening to our Minisode with police advisor and author Graham Bartlett. And thank you, Graham, for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Graham. And if you haven't already listened, then do have a listen to Graham's full In Suspense interview on policing for authors, which is Series 6, Episode 7.
So that's it for now. It's goodbye from Graham. It's goodbye from Lauren. And it's goodbye from me. Bye.